Namaste, Sat Sri Akal ji, Jai Gurudev. Thank you for joining us on Sada Apna show, Love, Laugh and Live.
प्यार करो हंसो ते जुगजू जियो वाला शो शुरू करने तो पहला ही कहना है
आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए, आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए, हर सोच में प्यार, शांत में खुशबू आवे.
So let's live our lives with beautiful thoughts and actions that create a joyful fragrance in all areas in our lives. So my name is Dav Ubi, and I'm a life and spiritual coach, and sitting next to me I'm a beautiful coach, Gurdyal.
I'm Gurdyal Garcha, and I'm a resilience and empowerment coach. I forget that sometimes, my role in life at the moment. And yeah, so welcome to our show. I hope you enjoy it today. And Dav, what's our topic going to be about today?
It's my favourite topic. Spirituality.
Oh yeah, something that's very, very close to both of our hearts. And so what I'll do is I'll give the explanation of what spirituality means according to Google.
Okay, Google's okay.
Okay, so according to Google, spirituality involves the recognition of a feeling or sense or belief that there is something greater than ourselves, and it's an experience that's greater than the whole of the part of the cosmic universe. So and it's divine in nature. And Dav, you tell me, what do you understand about spirituality in your way?
Okay, when I understood this concept, मैं थोड़ा sciencey explanation दूँगी, because this helped me to understand what I was at my core, है ना? So I'll try my very best. Simple explanation. Okay, so our body, Sada Sharir, is made out of all these tissues and organs. And so what are these tissues and organs made of? Cells. So what are these cells are made of? Molecules.
Yeah.
And what are these molecules made of? Atoms. And what are these atoms made of? Subatomic particles. And what are these subatomic particles made of? Energy.
Yeah.
This is all inside us. It's made of energy. And this energy exists in everything, you know, in us, this table, the air we breathe, you know, the chair we're sitting on. So there's no place where this energy does not exist. Sare paase hega. And we can give this energy so many different names, okay? For me, it's like omnipresent. God has no beginning, no end. It's eternal. It's this unconditional love. It's without judgment. It's we call the creator, high consciousness, high intelligence, the I am. There's so many names you can give to this energy. And then I realized, oh my God, this is scientifically proven that at our core essence, Sade Shrir vich sare paase, this energy, this light force being is God and exists all the time. And this is, when I understood this concept, it really helped me that there's no place where God doesn't exist. So,
and that's the same as ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ.
That's right.
You know, no hate and
no hatred, no hate, no anger.
fear.
Yeah, fear.
So that's like the most important thing. ਨਾਲੇ ਫਿਰ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ, you know, jyoti jyot ਸਰੂਪ ਹੈ ਆਪਣਾ ਮੂਲ ਪਛਾਣ. So this is where, you know, we've got to recognize we're the soul and we're connecting with God, and that's it's just a very basic kind of concept, but that's what we are. The inner core of who we are is what we're trying to be, really, and connect back all the time with throughout our life to enjoy the time that we're on this planet, really.
But we quite often forget, Hannah.
Yeah.
Because we just think with this flesh walking around, but we're not just this flesh.
Yeah.
Sade andar eddi koi powerful force hegi and sare paase hegi. Even my next door neighbor, the person that yesterday just said something horrible to me or whatever, or the which he energy. So but we forget that. But once I remember this, and I think, oh my God, Rab utte nahi itthe nahi hai, Rab ta mere vich hai, mere andar vasta hai. So that really gives me so much reassurance, and sometimes makes me feel like, you know, the love that we are is always there. You can never leave us. You know, so what does mean to you, Gurdyal, as in, give me your perspective, what I just explained a bit more.
So for me, you know, spirituality is always about a higher perspective. You know, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, we and as we're growing up, we just have a basic concept or understanding of life. But as we grow, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਖ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਸੁੱਖ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, then we realize, you know, ਅਸੀਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ, you know, we thank God, ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ, ਪਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ that's where our growth is. So ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ. There's got to be something bigger than what we are. And that's where slowly you get more and more into this. ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, or we do prayers or meditation, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਡੂੰਘਾਈ 'ਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ you feel and you understand ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਲੇ, you're not that body, you are there's so much energy that comes around you. ਤਾਂ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦਾ. So you get this higher perspective of ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, you know, through meditation or ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ, you feel that love not just for yourself but for everybody else.
Yeah, and that's really good. That's really well explained, Gurdal. I mean, I understand ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਪਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ connection ਹਟ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, and I can tell that when I start to feel anxiety or some sort of form of like sadness or hurt, or I've just gone out of alignment. So it's always stressful thought I join, and then I know I've disconnected myself from God. Because if you think about the energy of God, it's the energy of love, peace, harmony, abundance, and just clarity. So but if I start to feel the opposite of that, and opposite of love, and then I know I've disconnected myself. I've gone out of alignment. So that gives me an indicator, because Joey, I'm thinking about whatever I'm feeling, that is not the truth. It's illusion.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ when we become disconnected, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਿੱਕੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ, ਸਾਡਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ, ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਤੋਂ ਸੈਪਰੇਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ. ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੈਪਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਗਈ. ਮਤਲਬ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ we should be love, content, peace, all those things. ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੈਪਰੇਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ. ਸੋ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ in my way of doing it is, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਛੋਟੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਜਾਂ things like that, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਤੇ I haven't given myself attention, ਵੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਹੋਵੇ, ਮੇਰਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਹੋਵੇ. So to do things which make me feel like I need to reconnect with God. So ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ, ਜਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, you feel reconnected. ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਹਰੇਕ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦਾ. So that's, for me, that's what it is. The connection is so important.
It is. And like we said, if you're energy, we're vibrational beings. So as you vibrate ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ different frequencies, and those frequencies depend ਜਿੰਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ vibrate ਕਰਦੇ on a love and peace and forgiveness, compassion and kindness. These are higher frequencies. And so then we know if we're having those we're in that state of feeling those high vibrational beings, then we are connected. ਅਸੀਂ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ source energy ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ connect and that's when things start happening to us very easily, effortlessly, and we find ourselves like, have you noticed that? And when we're feeling so good and happy, and we're thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice to meet so and so, or have buy something, and all of a sudden somebody's bought it for you. They become like very powerful manifestors, because we're vibrating on a high frequency. But we still manifest on a lower frequency. We're manifesting all the time, and that means manifesting that we're attracting things coming into our lives. And even lower frequencies, like feeling of like you said, insecurity, fear, neglect, hate or anger or shame and guilt, and then emotions on a lower frequency. So we focusing on that. Those are all ego. And ego, I can think in other words, edging God out. Ego, so edged God out, and we've sort of brought ourselves into the illusion of
gone into your mind,
illusion, and gone into the false, and it's not the truth. The Joviko Soch, and this is not the universal truth. we've just gone into the program and put some meaning onto some situation which is not the truth. It's just a program that we acquired when we were young. So our energy, our frequency tells us straight away when we're connected or disconnected. So, but like I said, even a low energy, low frequency, it means that we still attract, but we attract what we're feeling. So if we're feeling anxiety, anger, we attract a situation, or then they, on the same vibration, that we get more of that. And but if you're vibrating on a high frequency of love and joy and peace, we attract more of that. So it's just saying that sadi responsibility what we want to what frequency we want to vibrate on. So it's very important.
So ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ this God source energy is within all of us. So ਹਰੇਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜੋਤੀ ਜੋਤ ਸਰੂਪ ਹੈ, so we've all got that light of God inside all of us. But the thing that I struggle with, and I know we've just spoken about this, is ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ, depending on what that person's done. ਤਾਂ ਜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੁਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ, we feel that's the hardest thing. ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੱਬ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ, then and spiritually, everything is love, joy, the higher consciousness. ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ, ਉੱਚੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ, but ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਨੂੰ forgive ਕਰਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖਾ ਆ. So I was just going to say to you, how do we forgive those kind of people who are the worst kind of people on this planet? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰੀਦਾ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਰੱਬ, God is love? Why do these really bad things happen, and how does that work?
I think if you're vibrating on a low frequency, so like you're vibrating your habit of being in that place of fear and hate and judgment and guilt and shame, for that sort of person won't have that understanding of forgiveness.
So matlab ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਬਹੁਤ low ਹੋਊਗੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁੱਸੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਰੇਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਨਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਡਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਤੋਂ ਸੰਗਦੇ ਆ, you have shame, and ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ negative feeling ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ,
they find it hard to understand. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ, because they're not on that understanding and awareness. But I think that people who are vibrating on a higher frequency, when they're more place of understanding and more shant and peaceful and calm people, they somehow get this awareness of the power of forgiveness.
ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, God's doing everything. So we have to come from a place of acceptance,
and also having a deeper understanding. Ape aa jandi hai, if you're in that vibration, because we attract those sort of, and we get insights and we get inspirations that come to us. And so like I came to an understanding, did someone let's say an example, let's say you did something to me so badly, but you spoke to me so rudely and did something like like a betrayal thing. And I came into this life to understand the meaning of forgiveness. How would I understand how to forgive? I didn't have something to forgive. Do you understand?
ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਗਲਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਗਲਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਫੀ ਦੇਣੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਫਿਰ ਹੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਫੀ ਦੇਣੀ ਆਊਗੀ ਜਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਾਫੀ ਕਰੀਦੀ ਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ. ਸੋ ਆਈ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਹੈਵ that understanding. ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਪਵੇ ਇਸ ਜਨਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. that's the only thing I need to learn.
And maybe it said ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ we had a soul contract, and our soul contract was that I'm going to do this to you, and then they ਬੁਰੇ ਹਾਲਤ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਊਂਗੀ, but then you're going to learn. Because to forgive is a very, very powerful frequency, and also when you're forgiving, you're actually saying thank you, thank you. You've given me a chance to understand the virtue of forgiveness. Nita, if you're nice to me all the time, how would I understand forgive the matlab kiya? And other things like faith. Jo main kuch rab to mangdi main aa de do, and then all this sanu mil jaye, then we don't understand what faith is. Faith means that learn the virtue of being patient, being in the place like I really have trust
and it's going to happen holi holi ho hi jana कि मैनू पूरा मारा ते विश्वास आ भी आ जिहड़ा मैं काम सोचा सी भी जरूर होना है भी जिदा निमरता दे नाल जिदा हलीमी दे नाल all those really beautiful thoughts be just like जिदा हुन जदों I can use an example of my children कि कई बारी जदों अपने घरां दे विच ब्याह हुंदे आ everybody gets stressed and angry and कहना भी ओ फलाना ओनू नहीं बोलदा ओ ओनू नहीं बोलदा things like that कहना भी तो मेरे मन च सीगा भी जिदा भी मर्जी होवे जो कुछ महाराज ने करना whatever happens ho hi jana and both of the weddings with God's blessing they just went really smoothly because I surrendered क्योंकि मैनू सीगा भी जिदा भी होना जे कोई प्रॉब्लम भी होई I'll handle it, I'll manage it, you know, with the family. Bi jo kuch bhi hega, it'll be all right. It'll sort itself out.
So you're vibrating as an energy being, you know, a vibrational being. You already sort of accepted that everything's going to work out in your favor. So that's even because I was saying that is soch, we're not thinking that's also energy. Energy exists everywhere. You know, but it's like we're ordering something from Amazon. We already have the belief that order karta, I'm already feeling content and happy. Is here. And so that's teaching you like faith, and also it takes you away from the energy of doubt, fear, worry, and those are all low vibrational, you know.
ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ faith ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਆ ਆਊਗਾ ਪਰ ਟਾਈਮ ਪਾ ਕੇ you know ਇੱਕਦਮ ਨਹੀਂ but I was just going to go back to this whole thing about enemies and ਇੱਕ ਫਿਲਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ Netflix ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ it's called The Shack ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ
it's a good movie
somebody does something terrible to a child I don't want to give you the whole story but do you remember where God plays a character in this film ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਨਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਇਹਨੇ ਗਲਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ And then do you remember he brings the two children?
I think he had a child or Bachari.
We're not going to tell the story.
Something happened. But then he wanted the person to be punished. Rab ਕਹਿੰਦਾ that person to be punished.
ਪਰ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਰੱਬ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਦੋ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਲੈ ਆਂਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੋ ਹੀ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੇ ਇਹਨੇ ਗਲਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਪਨਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਹੈਗੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਆ every child on this earth they're my children so je ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਲਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਵੀ I'm still going to forgive them ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਹਰੇਕ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਕਰਕੇ
ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ
ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ so this is where watching that film I really ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ deeper understanding ਮਿਲੀ ਸੀਗੀ
because you can't choose ਮੇਰੇ ਦੋ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਚੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਾਂ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਪਨਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਦਵਾਂ because ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਿਆਰ is unconditional love so ਰੱਬ ਵੀ ਸੋਚਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ punishment ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ you know because they're all mine and we can't punish our own children ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਕਰਦੇ we forgive them and we tell them ਕੋਈ ਨਾ you learn from your mistake you know become wiser
ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਫੇਰ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਾਂ ਵੱਧਦੇ ਆ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਦੇ you keep making the same mistakes so holi whether it's in this lifetime if you believe those kind of things but one day you will learn from whatever it is that you're doing and those mistakes whatever you're doing is going to come in front of you and you will have to face the consequences whether it's in this lifetime or the next
but mistakes we just like you said they're not bad we just grow and we evolve and we become better versions of ourselves so I never perceive mistake as something we should be shameful about it's just a new learning step and there's lots of people say to me goes oh Dav, tell me where does God exist? Actually, this is not the right question, Hannah. I say
the question is
where God doesn't exist. This is the right question. Where God doesn't, because there's no place Jirab Nivasta. You know, so He exists in this. You know, the saint or the sinner. There's nowhere that God doesn't exist. So this is what made me understand. Jado mere shreer ch vi koi dard ho raha na something. I even think mera Rab is pain ch vi vasta ya. So instead of me you know being angry with that pain I think what mere pain de vich vi Rab vasta hai and Rab is love and peace so I instead of hating this pain I start saying I'm being kind to my pain I said it's okay I'm here with you I love you even to the pain because this is where I started understanding that Rab is everywhere and notice even when people have very terminal illnesses like cancer they start saying, I'm going to fight this cancer, I'm going to, actually that's not coming from a place of love. And people fight the cancer, they've actually gone into stress, they've gone to flight or fight mode, aren't they? Flight or fight freeze mode, But actually when you just say, I'm accepting this and loving this because there's something healing deeper happening, those people, you find they have very powerful healing.
Yeah, I mean, that is a difficult thing to cope with. I mean, when you've had family or friends or anybody who's died from such a, that kind of disease. But even during that pain, as much as we may not think it now, there is some beauty in there that we learn as human beings because we've had to go through such deep hurt, resentment to God, as if to say, why me? Why my family? Why my mum? Why my dad? But there's a part in there that we have to accept. Be whatever happens is just life as it happens. So anyway, there was a quote that I wanted to say. So as you think, you vibrate. As you vibrate, you attract. So this talks about the different energies of lower or higher energy. फिर जिद्दां भी थोड़ी सोच आ, ओही थोड़े कोल मोरे आंदा है. I mean, just use an example, a very basic example. जे असी किसी नू गुस्से च बोलदे आ, 100% मोरे भी उन्होंने इदां ही बोलना है. जे तुसी प्यार ना किसी नू बोलदे आ, 100% they will talk back to you because कि जदों असी अपनी energy किसी नू दिंदे आ, फड़ाने आ कुछ ना, उन्होंने भी इदां ही थानू मुड़ के देना है. So just be mindful of those kind of things.
So it's the inside out. It's not the outside in. And third part, and that's what we experience. So we have to be very aware of that. And the more we start thinking like this, and we start to realize and pata lag janda, oh my God, it's me. I'm doing all of this. Jo kuch baah ho raha is something I've been focusing on, giving it my dominant thought and attention, because jehdi cheez nu tusi attention de rahe na bar, it will conform and become an experience ban janda. It's like you said, like we said, everything's energy, and everything is in, the energy is all in potential form, that once we start giving it attention, it will grow. But if you stop giving attention, take all your focus away from it, it will cease to exist. It won't exist anymore. So like just like an experience, like I had something happening a couple of weeks ago, and I found myself ruminating. मैं सोची जा रही थी कि जिन्ना मैं सोच रही थी वो गल वधी जाती सी, and I realized, oh my God, why am I keep thinking about this? मैं क्यों सोची जाती हूँ when I don't even like what I'm thinking? So I took my attention away. I said, I'm going to just not think about it and start put my ध्यान हो पासे है ना, और जिस चीज़ मैं सोचती से it eventually just disappeared. It didn't exist. This is how powerful it is.
फिर मतलब जिद्दां आपां जो कुछ भी असी सोचे, जे मैं कमां हुण मेरी आ लत्त दुखदी आ, सोच के फिर हौली हौली थोड़ा सारा शरीर दुखन लग पैंदा है. जे असी सोचिए चलो माड़ा मोटा दुख है, मैं उठ के अपना काम करी जांदी, जो तो फिर तुसी काम करन लग पैंदे आ जां बाहर चल जांदे आ, क्योंकि फिर थोड़ी अटेंशन उत्ते नहीं ना हैगी. फिर so by some miracle थानू चेता नहीं रहिंदा भी मेरा आ दुखदा तो मेरा ओ दुखदा है. So consciously, if you take your thought away from whatever it is, हौली हौली it goes away, that तुसी फिर enjoy कर सकदे अपनी life. पर जे तुसी बैठ के ओही सोची जाना मुड़ के ओही भी मेरी लत्त दुखदी है, मेरी बांह दुखदी, then it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, है ना. So कई बारी जिन्नियां भी साडी बीमारियां हैं, they all start from the mind. So जो कुछ भी आपां सोचते हैं. Anyway, Dav's going to give us a great analogy about a fist. कई बारी जदों असी रब बारे सोचते असी कहंदे भी रब दूर है साडे तो, पर रब हैगा साडे अंदर. पर this analogy of the fist analogy, जिथे आपां कहंदे आ जदों आपां हत्थ इधर रखदे आ, you're going to explain it and we'll discuss it a little bit.
I love this analogy because it helps me to understand again how I think more about spiritual relationships. What's the meaning of relationships? Because all relationships help us to connect back to God. So like think of this fist, just think when we say in the beginning, this energy force that is under sare antavasta sare passe, and this energy force, so we can call it God, we can call it omnipresent,
or higher perspective,
and higher consciousness, source,
the universe.
We've got so many names. We can call it Vaheguru, Paramatma. So imagine this is the God, but and from this fist we got all these little extensions coming from it. So just think.
So these are all the characters.
Yeah, there's a characters like this is you, me, a next door neighbour, the person in Australia.
Yeah, the enemy. The enemy
in the studio over there. So every single one of these are all extensions of this God, Hannah.
Yeah.
But it's experiencing itself. All these different
through those
characters.
Yes,
those characters.
Yeah.
And so, but if you notice, in between all these characters, there's this gap in between. Yeah. And this gap we perceive as we're separate from each other. So like that's sare separate, and that we're individuals, because we've forgotten that we all were one force energy, we were the one consciousness.
Yeah.
And what causes these separations is interesting, because this is something that whatever we have beliefs about ourselves, something that we learned as a young child. So where we believe that
I'm not good enough,
I'm not loved, I'm not important, I'm not special,
nobody loves me,
all these beliefs that we acquired when we were young. So we have these beliefs that make us feel that we're on our own. But actually each person, each one of us, we have these mirrors on us. So this thing but we have mirrors. So and the beliefs that we have about us, they're so deep in our subconscious mind that we've forgotten about them. But the other person will mirror them back to us. So let's say this is you, okay, little Pinky, and you got a belief that I'm not loved. No matter how much I try.
I am loved, by the way.
Just an example. But this person here will mirror back to you something where they don't make you feel loved. They'll ignore you. They would say something horrible. So what they're doing, this mirror backing your belief. And let's say this kept happening and happening all throughout, let's say your 30s, 40s, and you'll get to stage one day thinking, I've had enough of this. I keep seeing these patterns all my life. And you're thinking that if people don't love me, I'm going to start loving myself. I know I'm good enough. I appreciate myself. I understand myself. I value myself. I am enough, right? And all of a sudden, when you start thinking that way, and your vibration's getting higher, because you're vibrating, all here at the moment, we're vibrating at lower frequency. Because the more the gap, the more we're vibrating at lower frequency.
So let me just explain very quickly. So basically, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੋਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ fist ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, so when we're like this, we're all, my nails are not as nice. So we're all kind of, we feel separated, don't we? But these are ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਬਾਹਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਲਾ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ, ਫਿਰ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਉਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾ ਦੇ ਵੀ nobody loves you. So that's where we're at the moment.
So but just imagine ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇ mirrors ਲੱਗੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, we can't see them. So because we're in denial of ourselves, because it's such a deep subconscious things, we've forgotten this is what we learned as we were young. But ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ, because we're energy beings, we'll keep attracting that, what we believe. So what you believe, you attract. So the other person will show you, mirror back to you what you believe about yourself. You believe that I'm not lovable, people don't love me, so they'll validate that belief for you. And but
ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਆਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ, then we decide actually I want to be loved, but I'm going to do it myself. So ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰੂਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਰੂਗੀ, ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਆਪ ਲੈਣੀ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰੂੰਗੀ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ, then I'll just love everybody.
Because somehow ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਉਮਰ ਤੋਂ we got lived in codependent that I'm only going to feel happy if somebody else loves me. And that's not a very powerful place to live in. And then that's something we learned, behavior. But as you get older, you think, it's not somebody else's responsibility, it's my responsibility to love and honor my happiness for myself. And that's when you start having that awareness and learning, you start vibrating at higher frequency. And when you start vibrating at higher frequency, your gap starts to get less and less.
So ਮਤਲਬ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗਿਆਨ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ, ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਆ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਆ, if I want to be happy, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਵੀ ਫੇਰ ਹੀ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਊਗੀ.
So they'll mirror that back. So when you start vibrating and when you're a higher frequency of self-love and very positive self-concept for yourself, and you're saying nicer things, using positive words, higher frequency words, and then you start attracting people who are on the same
wavelength.
So if you're attracting the same wavelength, wavelength. You don't feel separate from that person. You always feel like, I don't know what it is, I always feel connected. We're always thinking the same thoughts, you're always feeling on the same vibe. So suddenly gap cut hundi hai. And then we find out we start attracting more people on the same vibration. And then before you know it, the gap's gone, and when the gap's gone, oh my God, this is who I am. I am this God, this omnipresent.
So I understand that's such a good analogy. I really, really love that. So मतलब जे असी प्यार ना सोचते हैं अपने बारे, तो प्यार ना असी बाहरली दुनिया नूं भी बुलाਉਂਦੇ चलाਉਂਦੇ, पर फिर हौली हौली उदां दी दुनिया तुहाडी बन जांदी आ. So then you just अपने आप में भी तुसी शांत रखते, पर उन्हां नूं भी फिर आपे तुहाडी कनेक्शन रब दे नाल वधदी आ. So then you feel more love and you know, acceptance of life as it is and things like that.
And then you realize that jad main rab nu labdi si, rab ta kithe nahi si nahi rab sigi, you know. And rab had never left me, because rab was me, you know, being Gurdiyal and Dav and everybody else, you know, experiencing itself. And then you think, wow, you know, that this analogy really helps me to understand.
It does help, पर कई बारी सानू फिर भी सानू चेता भुल जांदा भी जिन्ने भी लोग हैगे वो सारे रब दा रूप आ. आपां कह लैंदे आ, but it's very difficult to kind of cope with that. जिद्दां आपां सारे we're all in a theatre, जिद्दां theatre हुंदा भी सारे असी कल्ले कल्ले अपना रोल प्ले करदे हैं. मैं कुछ पाया, तुसी कुछ पाया, किसी होर ने कुछ होर पाया. पर जिन्ने चिर असी लोकां नूं देख के कहंदे नहीं है ना कि हाँ भी वो भी रब आ, उन्ने चिर we are separated, aren't we?
I think we forget, we come to play these drama on this stage. Dunya is just like a stage, isn't it? And
but it is really difficult. It is really hard,
because we've gone into amnesia, but we can't remember where we came from. We're not going to learn our lessons, how to forgive, whatever. If you remember who we are. And then I'm thinking, well, I know you're just pretending to be horrible to me. No, because then I'm not going to understand the true virtue of forgiveness. So we need to have that bit of amnesia to forget who we are.
मतलब जे थानू लगदा भी अगले दी सोच बदलनी, तुसी you have to change your own सोच, don't you? अपनी सोच बदलनी पैनी है. So you know, so it's really, really good. I really appreciate that analogy. Of,
and I love this also thing about the stage and the roles we play, because this life is just these sare drama karde, we're coming in a different costume. So that means that asi apni story, apni movie bana rahe hain. So we're our own directors and producers of our movies that we, you know, experiencing on this world. So thonu nahi thonu pasand thodi movie. What can you do? You just write a new script. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ.
So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚੋ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੰਗੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੰਗੇ ਸਮਝਦੇ, then you can change. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚ ਸਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ you know, ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਉਹ ਫਲਾਨੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ, ਉਹ ਉਹਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ, then you can decide. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚ ਸਕਦੇ ਵੀ मेरी दुनिया मैं चाहती नहीं इदां दी दुनिया होवे मेरे कोल. So you have to consciously सोचना पैना थोड़े के जे पछाण हट के भी मैं नहीं इदां रहना जां इन्हां दे लोकां दे विच रहना. So ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ चेंज होना पैंदा, ना कि तुसी ट्राई करो अगले नू चेंज करनो. So that's the hardest part.
It is, but then it is, you have to it's like master the skill. It's like you're learning to write a book, so let's say my new chapter, pehle chapters I wrote a whole different story around the world being unsafe and cruel. So actually new chapter's gonna, so like let's say I had in my old chapter I used to write thinking, oh, people are so cunning and jalak and things like that. Humare Navi chapter, I'm going to say people are very kind and compassionate and very caring. So that's what I'm going to start thinking. Whatever I do, people just really appreciate, admire what I do, and I respect. The more I'm respecting myself, the more people are respecting me. So this is the thought and the new script I'm writing every day to change my circumstances. And so are you going to explain anything more about what brought you more into spirituality?
I think for me spirituality is just a continuous journey. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ, you know, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ when you're not talking to anybody, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ that's been in us from a very, very young age. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ with our parents, you know. So spirituality is just an extension of that, but it's a deeper understanding. Because ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ but you don't understand it. On ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਦਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਨਾ it's so ਨਜ਼ਦੀਕੀ, so beautiful, I want to find out what the meaning is, so I will Google it, and then you have an even deeper understanding and you appreciate that shabad or so much more. So ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਛੋਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਣਾ and ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਮਿਲਦੀ, you can't get that anywhere else, ਪਰ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਚ ਮਿਲਦਾ, you know, when you're sitting and you're listening to beautiful shabad or gurbani, whichever it is, and part ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਰਜੀ, it doesn't matter where you are, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ, so wherever you go you can carry that with you, and for me that's the most important thing, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ to be able to sit at home, ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਉਹ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਲੈਣ ਨੂੰ, you can get that within yourself when you decide ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੰਮ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ I'm going to sit and I'm going to meditate, ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਠ ਸੁਣਨਾ, ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ you know I can forget all of life's worries and challenges and just be connected to God, and that for me is the most important thing about spirituality. ਪਰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਧਰ ਖਿੱਚਿਆ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹ ਕਰਦੇ, ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੁੱਕਦੀਆਂ, ਕੰਮ ਤਾਂ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਕਿਆ. So this is the most important thing, ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਟਾਈਮ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ you know connect with yourself and look at what needs to be doing. You know ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ I don't value myself enough. You know, you were going to say
on the bottom of the list.
You were going to say even saying that I'm God.
Some people find that hard to say that. Even if I say to you, do you know you're God?
कि मेरे शरीर च रब हैगा या.
Oh, not even saying that, but can you call yourself I am God? Some people find it hard to say because they think themselves so small. You know, God is something so great, but that's a belief. You think yourself that मैं कुछ भी नहीं है रब. But that's your thinking makes you you attract yourself being not important, not valuing yourself, and God thinking, well, how can you, I'm in you, how can you think of me being small in you and big everywhere else? मैं तेरे अंदर बसता है.
पर यही तो सब तो बड़ी गल है कि कई बार ਅਸੀਂ सब तो छोटे होंदे ने ਅਸੀਂ इदा सोचे भी रब किते हो रहा. You know, we have to go to the Gurdwara to get God, but it's something we have to work on all the time, करके ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਸੋਚਾਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਫਿਰ ਰੱਬ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਬਹੁਤ ਦੂਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ. ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਰੱਬ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਾਗੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ, then it feels like it's really close. So it's a weird paradox.
I think everybody will have their own understanding of how they connect with God, but it's right for everyone. That's the thing, Hannah, and there's no wrong way, Hannah. Like I said, with me, for me connecting with God and spirituality, I mean, I think when I was younger I was very more religious. You know, but I became less and less religious, became more into spirituality when I understood that with spirituality it was more like me having a two-way communication. And that wasn't just like do my meditation or going to the Gurdwara. I felt like it's happening 24/7, and that two-way communication even through my symptoms, because symptoms are, I felt like the body was giving me, you know, high consciousness. There's a dialogue going on. It was telling me something on a subconscious level, what I was thinking of, and then also like even when I had challenges or through relationships or anything at work, even there I found into the depth of that pain or challenge I connected to God through that pain.
Because whenever we've gone through difficulties in our life, we always see that actually benefited me in some way, because through our challenges we change as people, and that's where the growth is. But we don't see it. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, then we can't see it. ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਜਾਂ you know ਵੀ ਆ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. But when we come out of that problem, that's when we realize ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਔਖਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਸੀਗਾ, even that was for our greater good, even though sometimes the worst things can happen. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਬੁਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ, but even still then we can find a connection with God in the way that we need it.
A very small example, let's say something happened and I felt so much sadness or hurt or something, before I got into spirituality, I would be quite focused on the trigger and the story of it.
Yeah.
But once I got more into the depth of who we are, our core essence, this energy, then whatever I was feeling, that pain or hurt or sadness, once I allowed myself to just to be with it and sit with it and feel it fully, because feeling is healing, Hannah. And when I just felt the sadness and not judge it and took my attention away from the problem, but once I felt it, underneath that pain, that anger, sadness, oh my God, I felt, you get to this place where you find this immense love and
it's like
peace.
bliss, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like this peace and this shant. And that's when I got into that place. That's why I thought, oh my God, I just felt connected with this higher consciousness. So it's funny, people can connect it through, like you said, through meditation. But you can also actually find you connect to the depth of that pain, that there's always love there. There's always love that is the foundation, the core essence. And so there's different ways people understand spirituality means to them and how they connect with higher consciousness.
I mean, spirituality is all about joy, it's about laughter, it's not about the heavy feelings of sadness, and but even through that pain we can connect. I totally get it, but I just, in my opinion, God is all about joy, laughter, wants us to thrive and take risks, because I feel like, even with the work that we do, I feel like we're being encouraged, supported. So as long as you've got the faith, then things will work out. But sometimes that faith does test you in so many different ways.
It does, because if you start to have this belief that Rab Sare Paase Vasa, this energy force, so when you are sort of like coming up with these very uncomfortable, sensations of hate or anger or sadness or guilt or shame, but he's in there. You just need to give it some love and compassion and kindness, and you see underneath that anger, underneath that pain, there is that love exists.
And sometimes it's the love for yourself, loving you as this great human being, but you're just not recognizing it at that time. I mean, I think sometimes it's about letting go, surrendering, allowing the universe to work through you in order for you to get to where you need to be. But sometimes we're so attached to our circumstances or our stories or whatever you want to call it, that we won't allow ourselves, and through not surrendering and having these expectations of people or circumstances, then that's what stops us from actually moving forward with our lives.
So letting go, I think, probably mean just let go of trying to work it out. Trying to ruminate, and I got to keep thinking about it until I get to a solution. Let go of that, because that's not going to help at all.
And sometimes just getting on with things, maybe going for that run, meeting your friend, or relaxing into it, the solution will come to you. And at the most unexpected time, or you'll get some kind of sign, but it's about trusting that these things can happen, but at a completely different, at a much higher conscious level. But anyway, I've got another quote. You know how I love my quotes. So you have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. So when we say and that's from Swami Vivekananda or Yogananda. So if you ever want to look up, I mean, he does say really, really beautiful things.
He does.
And our soul is what we're all about. That's the deep core essence of the love, the consciousness, the higher source, whatever you want to call it. And you've said that.
So even in Christianity, don't they say like the kingdom of heaven is within us? Because sometimes people say, oh, when you go to heaven, we always think heaven's up there and hell's down here. There's no up there, everything's in here. So it depends if you get a state to which it's like even now I can think about things, that I can make this life hell if I keep focusing on that thought. I can't let go of that, what they did to me. And that will make hell.
My mum used to say, my mum used to say narak ta swarg sara kuch ithe hi a. So je tusi apni life swarg rakhni hai, then you've got to be in that state of happiness, joy, laughter, all those things. Je tusi narak banauni hai, fir tusi, you know, you can make your life the worst life in the, but it's all to do with your thoughts and your actions. So always be conscious of what you're doing. You know, your life can be beautiful, it can be so much joy. I mean, we consciously, you know, through doing this program, we've consciously made a decision that we want it to be fun, we want it to be joy, and we want to be able to support and advise and guide in whichever capacity. But through doing that, we still find joy and laughter when we're trying to come up with all of this stuff. So it may feel like it's heavy work, and working through it, it can be. Can't it?
Have a good laugh about it. But at the moment, in that good place and that state of having fun, all this other inspiration, ideas, insights are in there, because we're becoming that vibrational being of allowing ourselves just relax and have fun. And through fun, we've had more ideas, haven't we?
And again, it's ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ you know gratefulness, how do you say that in Punjabi,
ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ,
ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕੱਲੀ ਕੱਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ, then ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ you will attract more stuff into your life because you appreciate. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਲੱਕੀ ਆ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਤੱਤਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਆ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਘਰ ਆ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਿਆਣੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੱਧਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ you appreciate what you've already got. ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਆ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ you know the poorest of the poor, you know, we can think about you know, in India, the worst places, what do they call them, the slums in India. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਗਰੀਬ ਲੋਕ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਚੋਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਚੋਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ they live with very little but they have the most joy. So it's just funny, isn't it, ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਆ ਓਨਾ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਫਿਕਰ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾ ਚੋਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ, ਆਹ ਨਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ, you know, and we get stuck with our attachments, you know, and our insurances and our money and all these things. But if we just remember we ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ खाली आए हैं तो खाली जाना है. So it's good if we kind of think, chal, if we lose it, just enjoy whatever we have.
That causes attachment and our suffering. You know, so like I said, if people are that they complain, kari jana, complain, you know what? The universe say you like complaining. This high I give you more of that. But if you like to express gratitude, shukrana kana, Rabbana, I give you more things to shukrana. So just khyaal na to see every day. ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੋਚੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਜਾਊਗਾ. So let's not complain as much.
ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਪੈਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, you know, ਫਿਰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਂਦੀ. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ I mean ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ I don't watch the news ਕਰਕੇ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ you know ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਭਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਤਰਨਾਕ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ. So you feel low, your vibration is low. But ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ I believe in God, ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ that's gonna happen regardless. ਚਾਹੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇਖੋ ਚਾਹੇ ਨਾ ਦੇਖੋ, you know, sometimes it's important with the rail strike, things like that, but majority of the time it's just depressing. So why not just focus on the good things that are in your life. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਉਹ ਆਪੇ ਆ ਜਾਣੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ. You don't have to watch it all the time.
And you have to remember, because ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਅਦ ਦਿਸਣਾ. So why ਕਿਉਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ? You know you got the power ਜਿੱਦਾਂ to the thoughts create. So think about thoughts, watch things are inspiring, ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ. That's how beautiful this life is.
ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ you know ਗਮੀ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਆ, you're going to be upset, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਖੁਸ਼ ਵਾਲੇ ਜੋਕ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ, ਫਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ, ਫਨੀ ਫਿਲਮਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਰਸਨੈਲਿਟੀ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਦਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵੀ ਨਾਲੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹਾਂ, ਬਾਹਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਵੇ. So it's all about what you're thinking about and what you give your attention to. So it's really, life can be so lovely and amazing.
It is. And I think about there's problems out there, let's say, you know, big problems, small problems, no matter what it is. If the thought's not there about the problem, there's no problem. If I take my attention and thought away from them, the problem there isn't, it doesn't exist. So what is the problem really? Is it the situation out there, or your thoughts. So who's punishing who? We're punishing ourselves by holding on to the thoughts, बार-बार सोची जाना,
ਇਹ ਝੂਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ
Yeah.
ਇਦਾਂ ਕਹਿਤਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਵੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਲੋ, my mom's favorite thing was chal ho. She used to say chal ho, and I used to think that's a really good way of living, because ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਤਾਂ ਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਹਟਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, so just let it go.
ਹੈ ਨਾ, it's gone and done. But ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੋਚੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ, so who's creating the more suffering, the situation out there or ourselves? We're creating the suffering by thinking it, ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੋਚੀ ਜਾਣਾ। so ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਇੰਨੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੋਚੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ। You know, I find it's easier to let go of it and forget about it and think about things that's going to be much more fulfilling and happier, ਹੈ ਨਾ।
ਨਾਲੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ, ਅਗਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾ ਕੇ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਕੱਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ, ਆਂਟੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਪਰੌਂਠੇ ਬਣਾਏ ਸੀਗੇ, she treated us so much love, ਅਸੀਂ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕੀਤਾ, ਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਨੇ it was just so lovely। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਲਈ, just do it, you know, ਕਰਕੇ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਲਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ। so it's really important ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤੇ ਕਰੋ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਛੱਡ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, let it go, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਲਾਈਫ ਕਰੋ। ਚਲੋ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਹਿ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤਾ, so let them, ਉਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ।
just remember, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਰੱਬ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵਸਦਾ, ਰੱਬ is you, so ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਪਰਪਸ ਆਹੀ ਬਣਾ ਲਓ, every day ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ make someone smile, happy, and just feel grateful that we're all together, we're all connected.
So you know, life ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ, ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਠੀਕ ਆ, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, you know। so you know, ਸੋਚੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚੋ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਰੂੰਗੀ, ਬਾਹਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਟਰੀਟ ਕਰੂਗੀ। so ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚਣੀ will bring to you whatever you're experiencing or you want to experience.
So we just finish off ko,
so we just आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए, आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए, हर सोच में प्यार ता खुशबू आवे।
So that's lovely, I like that.
I hope you really enjoyed our show,
and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Jai Gurudev.